Well, I finally did it. After years of telling you boys I'd cook and bring in a bird, I did it.
What'd you do, Kate?
And made it with my own 2 hands.
No way!
How long
Not a chance you made that.
I'm running the plays, I'm calling the shots. I'm in the zone, I'm getting hot of Virginia, cream of the crop. You cannot stop me from reaching the top. Hard work and dedication, giving everything that you got. Respect the process, go hard till the clock stop. I wanna be great, I want to go to my plate. To be the best, you gotta go hard and do whatever it takes. I wanna be great, I learn from my mistakes. Now I do what it takes, I do what it takes, I do what it takes. I wanna be great, I want to go to my plate. To be the best, you gotta go hard and do whatever it takes. I wanna be great, I learn from my mistakes. Now I do what it takes, I do what it takes, I do what it takes.
It is an Eastern clash on Thanksgiving Monday. Ottawa looking for a little momentum heading into the postseason. 1-4 in their last 5 games. Drew Brown still nursing that ankle injury, so Jeremiah Masoli will hope to turn that tide. Speaking of QBs, Cody Fajardo away from the team after his wife gave birth to their second child. So it's Davis Alexander taking the reins for the Alouettes, also needing a boost, just 1-2-1 since clinching that postseason spot. Is there anything better on Thanksgiving Monday than a little CFL action and a delicious turkey? There's not. Enoch Mwamba, Matt Dunnigan, and Jim Barker as we get set for Ottawa taking on Montreal. Very simply, Enoch, who are you thankful to be watching today?
I am thankful to watch Davis Alexander once again step on the field. This young man has played so well each and every single time his number was called. He stepped on the field. He's only thrown 1 interception. It's actually fascinating to see the type of performances he's put on. I can't wait to watch him tonight.
Yeah, a lot to be thankful for, and I'm thankful to watch this young man. Obviously, Davis Alexander, because he's showing a lot of promise that his future good the way he's played so far. But another guy I'm looking for, a little sidebar to the main course of turkey dinner with the Davis Alexander is a little Austin Mack. Give me a little bit mashed potatoes and gravy right there. Watching Austin Mack do his thing. Coming off the practice, he was in practice, got hurt. He's back on the roster now. A lot of promise, obviously. He's the #1 receiver last year for this football team and a big instrumental part of that Grey Cup. He's back in a lot of them. I am thankful for that, Jim.
They need him back for this run. Well, I'm thankful to watch Jeremiah Masoli play in a meaningful game late in October after what that guy's been through for the last couple years. He's had some good games since he's back, some not so good. This is a game they need to win.
Yeah.
I can't wait to watch Jeremiah deliver on Thanksgiving.
Nice.
His leg hopefully feels better than the leg on that turkey.
Well,
You
he's
had
not
to
on
go
the
there.
field, so
You
he's
had
safe.
to go there. No, it's good. Enoch, will you do the honors, by the way? The knife is right by you, and I don't trust anyone else.
Oh, come on.
Ooh, let's carve it up.
Shot right there.
Piece you want.
Well, got the leg, obviously. Come on now. All right, it's a huge matchup on Monday. By the way, a sold-out crowd today at Percival Molson Stadium. We'll get you to Montreal right after this.
That hate the grind, the sweat, the blood, the time, my motivation. I work too hard, too long, and not be in the conversation. My team been up, way up, ain't nothing less than domination. I got the game to save it like in key and combination. Keep it goal and high sight, don't focus on what's hindsight. Sleeping on me, tell them night, night, it's my time in a bright light. Don't ever pay no mind, keep it pushing, don't ever give them a sound. They gon' let me know they shining, but they wanna talk about you when you're down.
Oh, you got that right, Kate Burness. Happy Thanksgiving, Canada, and welcome to Montreal on a cool and rainy holiday Monday, but doesn't appear to be deterring the crowd. Capacity crowd expected here with the rain gear on, just in case it starts pouring a little bit more. We have some protection up in the booth, and apparently we have an oven as well, because look what just turned up here.
Yes.
Dwayne Ford, happy Thanksgiving, my friend. And
Happy Thanksgiving to you, Roderick.
Thank you. A lot to be thankful for watching a football game in this holiday, and also the possibility of carving this up a little later.
I'm sure we'll get to that a little later.
We do have a knife standing by, so it might be a little bit cool by then. We'll get it back into the oven now. And let's talk about quarterbacks, because the two starting quarterbacks are the backups today. Jeremiah Masoli for the RedBlacks.
Yeah, and backups who have had their share of starts this year. Mixed results for Jeremiah Masoli as he's worked his way back, as you heard Jim Barker mention, from a couple of years battling injury, but an experienced guy who's had plenty of success in this league. Davis Alexander, less experience, but very impressive in his starts earlier this season. Look to see what he can do down the stretch here for the Montreal Alouettes.
The RedBlacks won the toss. They have deferred. Ottawa still looking for a home playoff date. They've clinched their first playoff spot since 2018, but second place in the East is still up for grabs. They're a point behind the Argos now. The Alouettes have clinched first, but they want to keep this going. Cody Fajardo resting in this one. Davis Alexander, so impressive, coming off the bench against the Riders back in August and won that game and then won 3 more starts.
Yeah, obviously a guy that many people around this league look at as having a bright future, and Davis Alexander himself looks to continue to build on that reputation. He's a guy that this team has rallied around. They talk about his competitive nature, etc. Davis Alexander looking to keep his winning ways intact for the Montreal Alouettes.
His first taste of action since August 17th. Going to work, it's knocked away right away. Bennett Williams, a starting strong side linebacker, replacing a Darius Pickett, coming in and knocking that one down.
And we'll take a look at these lineups, talk about some of the top rookies in the league. Don't forget Josh Donovan, who's manned that right tackle spot for the Montreal Alouettes throughout this season. And, of course, in the receiving core, you heard him mentioned in the pregame, Austin Mack is back. It would be great for him to find some rhythm in this Montreal offense going into the playoffs.
Scott in one game since coming back from his NFL tryout. So game 2 for him. Second down, Alexander. Throwing again, and it is caught. Cole Speaker had a great game in a losing cause a couple of weeks ago against the Argonauts in Toronto. Has the first catch from Alexander and a first down.
We'll get the Davis Alexander view of what's going on downfield here. Clear throwing lane. Cole Speaker with just a step on Bennett Williams. Alexander puts it on the spot to move the sticks right around that first down marker.
He had 3 catches for 99 yards and a touchdown against the Argos. A back-and-forth game that Toronto ultimately won. The last time the Alouettes played, they had the bye last week. So did the RedBlacks. First down, faking to Walter Fletcher, completing it to Charleston Rambo. In his first year with the Alouettes, has that one up at the Ottawa 50 in a second down.
Yeah, taking a look defensively for the Alouettes. Mike Wakefield, this is a veteran player who I think continues to get better in his career, really establishing himself this season as one of the top interior pass rushers in the league. Frankie Griffin always consistent and providing veteran presence now at that weak side linebacker position. We'll keep an eye, talk about veterans, Brandon Dandridge. Money Hunter moving to that safety position. We'll see what he's able to do from there.
On the 2nd and 3, it is knocked away. Coming in on the coverage is Elijah McGee to break that up and force it a 3rd down for the Alouettes.
You've got McGee playing inside leverage on Austin Mack already. Max just sits it down. Easy break to the ball to break that one up.
So Tobias Harris is back along with Khalil Pimpleton. Each going outside the numbers on either side of the field for this punt by Joseph Zeman. It is going McGee's way, but it's out of bounds. A flag comes out. It can't go out of bounds outside the 15-yard line on a punt, or else it is a penalty. So a little better for the RedBlacks. Net 25 punt for the Montreal Alouettes. Jeremiah Masoli getting set for his 2nd straight start with the RedBlacks. Jeremiah Masoli, 3rd start for the RedBlacks this season. He had the start in Saskatchewan, where he went 26 of 36, 278, but threw 3 interceptions in that game.
Yeah, and I think when you look a little bit at Masoli's touchdown interception ratio, a little bit skewed by the circumstances in which he has come in at times, trying to make something happen late in that Hamilton game, trying to push the ball down the field, taking some chances, etc. But certainly a veteran guy you can count on. we take a look at this Ottawa offensive line, the veteran Jacob Ruby, we've seen him get some action at right tackle this year, gets to start at left tackle here today. And in that receiving core, Justin Hardy out of the lineup. Keep an eye on Andre Miller, who's had plenty of action in the second half of this season. Big target added to that group.
Kalen Laborn gained 2, 2nd and 8 now Masoli. Trying to find a receiver, and he checks that one down, and he does complete it to Dominic Rhymes up near the 40. Not nearly enough for a first down, so it's a 2 and out for the Ottawa RedBlacks on their opening possession.
Rhymes taking a heavy hit on that one. Jeffrey Kenta-Arku in on the play. Alouettes' first-round pick this year as James Letcher will head back to receive the punt.
So Richie Leone, the veteran, 5-time All-Star, coming on to punt it away for the RedBlacks. James Letcher had a punt return touchdown 2 weeks ago against the Argos in Toronto. Punt to 39 yards, up across the 35 to about the 38, where he is pushed out of bounds. Bob Dice, he was the head coach of the Ottawa RedBlacks for the first time on this day 2 years ago. They did win that. And this season, it's been much better for Ottawa. But lately, a 3-game losing streak, and suddenly in behind the Argos by a point, Dwayne. This is a big one today.
Well, it's huge, and here's exactly why. You talk about the importance of home as they are fighting for second place and a home playoff date. Look at Ottawa's record. Simply put, at home, top home team in the Canadian Football League versus on the road, a poor record in part due to, as you saw, giving up way too many points when they travel.
And another big game looming against the Argos in Toronto next week for the RedBlacks. Running something the Alouettes want to improve upon as they get closer to the playoffs with Walter Fletcher, and has a good carry there up near a first down, about 9 yards for Fletcher.
Yeah, going right at the Ottawa defense on this one. Walter Fletcher up the middle. You saw the right tackle, Donovan, getting up to the middle linebacker on that one. Good effort by Freda at middle linebacker to come off and make a play.
Fletcher coming into this game with 630 yards rushing, averaging 5.7 per carry. He's off now, and so too is Davis Alexander with Dominic Davis, short yardage quarterback in, and doesn't look like he got it. Initial look there. Now this is a second down, bear in mind. So they still have a down to play with, but Davis, who has excelled at this over the years, finding it pretty tough against that Ottawa front on that play.
You'll see right here the Ottawa defensive front stacks things up. Like Mike Wakefield, the guy who sort of stopped the movement right at the point of attack.
So now they'll line up and try it again. Davis stays in. They got about half of what they needed. Call it about a foot. This is third down. The RedBlacks do it again. Davis tries. Oh, he finally leans over on second effort, but at first they had got to him in behind the line of scrimmage. Lorenzo Maldonado fired up, but it looks like they will have enough for the first down based on that second surge by Dominic Davis. Yes, indeed. First down, Alouettes.
Yeah, Ottawa's defense, you'll see the right side definitely stands up Davis initially, but he keeps his feet. You see Nick Callender grabbing him around the waist, saying, "Come with me." It helps pull his quarterback to a first down.
Getting the nose of the ball up just about the Alouette 50, though. There's Callender, the big left tackle. Help your quarterback any way you can, whether it's blocking for him or pulling him along to make sure he gets that first down. Davis Alexander is back in. And off to the left to Walter Fletcher. And excels at yardage after the catch, and has a big gain there, venturing deep into the Ottawa zone around the 25-yard line, and a big first down for the Alouettes.
Yeah, you're going to see Walter Fletcher just with a free release to the flat. No one goes with him on this play. And dangerous anytime that Fletcher catches that ball in space. Comes into this game with 596 receiving yards, 545 of those after the catch. So this is a guy you certainly want to make sure you're tight in terms of your coverage anytime he's releasing from the backfield. And when you're not, this is usually the result.
He's been remarkable after catching the ball, all that yardage. 34-yard gain. Sean Thomas Erlington is the running back. Stays in to protect for Davis Alexander, who's taking a deep look. for Keon Julian Grant until Brandon Dandridge came on at the last second to save the day.
Going to see Julian Grant working out of the slot. He's the middle receiver to the left side of the formation here. You see the separation he's got, but you see how he's waiting for the ball. It gets in there, but as you see, because he doesn't catch it cleanly, Dandridge recognizes he's got a second chance to make a play on that one after being beaten, and makes no mistake.
Julian Grant had beaten Dandridge, and then Dandridge just knocks it out. So pressure on Alexander, puts his head down, and Money Hunter, the safety, coming in to limit his gain to about a yard. So suddenly a 3rd and long after that big play to Walter Fletcher, and the field goal unit will come on for Montreal.
A missed opportunity there for the Montreal Alouettes. That time Ottawa doing a good job bottling up the Alouettes QB.
Jose Maltos, 26-29. This will be a 32-yard try for the opening points of this ball game on this holiday Monday in Montreal. Put down by Zima and Maltos. Still impressively filling in for David Cote most of the season. It was a field goal, and it was that close to being an opening touchdown. But no, says Brandon Dandridge. 3-0 Montreal. Congratulations to the Fajardo family. Cody, Laura, and little brother as well. Born Kian to brother Luca. And a great shot of the family there. And Cody away from the team a lot for obvious reasons this past week, and sitting this game out. But congratulations to the Fajardos.
Cody's working on that right arm with him already. Notice that?
Got Luca and Kian now. That's Kalen Leyburn. And up around the 45 on this next possession for the RedBlacks against this Alouette defense, Dwayne.
Yeah, Jordan Dominic will get the start at defensive end this week. Group looking to get after Jeremiah Masoli a little bit. The linebacking court, can't say enough about the season put together by Tyrese Beverett. A productive year for Deontay Ruffin, leading the way with 5 picks on the back end.
Dustin Crum is in at quarterback on this 2nd and 5. A flag comes out after he catches the snap. It is not enough for a first down, so interesting twist here on a 2nd down play on the 2nd possession for the RedBlacks with Crum in instead of Masoli.
Well, mixing things up a little bit, and obviously some package things you can do with Crum and his running ability.
Offside. Montreal number 99. That result in a first down.
And it works out for the RedBlacks. They didn't have enough for the first down, but Antonio Moultrie is called on the offside, so that will be enough to move the sticks, get it up to the RedBlack 50. And Dustin Crum is staying in, so it does make you wonder what's going on with Jeremiah Masoli, having just worked one previous series to start this game. Crum, who has several starts from last year when Masoli and others were injured. And quickly off to the right. And not much there. A couple of yards picked up, and that's it for the RedBlacks. A 2nd and long still ahead. Now Masoli is coming back on.
And we've seen teams in the past, not as much this season, but at times where you have a short yardage quarterback, kind of a package guy, however you want to label that, where you'll bring him in not just for one play at a time or just for one 2nd down plunge or whatever the case may be, but just to mix things up and stay in for plays afterwards, keep the defense off balance a little bit.
Pass to Jalen Acklin, only going for a yard. It's a 2nd and 9. Masoli back in. Approaching midfield and down by 3 early here in Montreal. Masoli has time. He looks to the left. And right down near the sideline, that is caught by Khalil Pimpleton. And keeps a foot in bounds down at the Alouette 41 for a first down, RedBlacks.
Yeah, long throw out to that sidelines. Good concentration by Pimpleton, not to step out of bounds while focusing on the football, aware of his surroundings, sort of drags the feet. That was close.
Well, they quickly get another playoff, run tempo. It does stand if there was any doubt about having that foot down. Kavion Ento had been arguing that he should have been out of bounds, but it's ruled a catch for Pimpleton, and on that first down play, they get it a little closer to about the 36 of the Alouettes.
Yeah, keep an eye on the feet here. He's going to drag them. But did the feet come up before the ball was in his hands, I think, is the debate, albeit a moot one right now.
No challenge, no review, so on they go. 2nd and 5 now from Montreal 36. Swinging it off to the right, Kalen Leyburn trying to push for a first down. He gets very close with Ento on him. If he doesn't have it, it'll be just inches away, and they're saying yes, indeed, another first down for Ottawa.
And Leyburn, of course, took over that starting running back spot with the release of Rock Armstead at midseason. Free release for him out to the flat. The blockers know the ball's going to the running back. Doing a good job getting in front. You saw big Nick Mardner there getting things blocked up.
Crowd picking up here at Molson Stadium. Nose of the ball down to the Alouette 30. RedBlacks in scoring position. Going right side with Leyburn. Looks like he's picked up another 5 yards down to the 25. And Leyburn playing in his 5th CFL game.
Well, we've talked about this in the past. When you look at the Montreal Alouettes records and the games that they've lost this season, quite frankly, one of the keys is not letting Montreal get out in front of you. Montreal is great, can do all their things defensively that are so aggressive, give offenses a lot of trouble when they play with a lead. But it changes the equation a little bit when you keep things close or get ahead of them.
2nd and 5. Mazzoli nowhere to go. They got him. And behind the line of scrimmage, he is sacked. Moultrie is there. So too is Jordan Dominic getting the start. But sack there for Moultrie, his first of the season, and Mazzoli heads off, and Lewis Ward will be coming on.
And you'll see Moultrie, number 99, working as a D-end here in a 3-man front. He's been starting at defensive end, actually, but moving inside this week with Mustafa Johnson out of the lineup.
So a 34-yard try for Lewis Ward. With Leone putting it down, it's blocked. Rolling down near the end zone. Alouettes have it. Darnell Sankey with it. Flags coming down, but Ward's kick, trying to tie the game, gets blocked by Montreal. Big special teams. Up, hand up, right there. Looked like Moultrie. Sankey gets the ball. Alouettes still ahead 3. It was back in week 8 here in Montreal. The Owls trailing the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Second half, Davis Alexander came on, led 2 touchdown drives, and ultimately led to the Alouette victory. Let's head down to the field and say hello to Kenzie Lalonde.
Yeah, Rod, it's quite remarkable, the body of work Davis Alexander has put together, considering the adversity he's faced off the field, losing his father at the end of August. And just last week, during the bye week, he was back home in Seattle for a service for his father. So he hasn't had much rest. But yet again, here he is stepping up for his team when they need him the most. And he'll also be looking to seize the opportunity. Let's not forget, he'll be a free agent at the end of the season. So we'll want to showcase what he can do to both Owls management and the CFL.
Thank you, Kenzie. His dad, Jeet said, so proud of him for what he did and lived to see it. And getting 3 starts afterwards, and just how difficult it is for that young man, age 25, to lose his father at such an early age. And the first time Davis Alexander is back playing again.
Yeah. As you said, difficult situation, but Davis Alexander, the thing everybody talks about in the Owls organization with this guy is how competitive he is, how driven he is, and you know that that's not something that's going to change.
On the 2nd and 5 now. Throwing, it's caught, it's a first down, and it's Austin Mack, their top receiver. last year in this second game this year. We asked Jason Moss, is Davis Alexander ready to be a starting quarterback in the CFL?
In my opinion, yes. I mean, I think, you know, when you look at it's a small sample size, but the sample size that he's accrued right now, I mean, it's successful, and he does a lot of things that starters do in this league. He prepares a certain way. When given opportunities, he makes things happen. He's accurate, he's tough, you know, he's competitive. You know, those are starting quarterback qualities.
Goes to the ground here with Walter Fletcher. With a good pickup by Fletcher at a big catch and run, 34 yards for the Alouettes in their previous possession. But yeah, Davis Alexander, so impressive against the Riders here in the comeback, and then winning his next 3 starts, 2 over Hamilton, and then another one in Saskatchewan.
You know, there are reports that after that interview clip that Jason Moss gave, that general manager Danny Machocha ran in the room trying to get rid of the video evidence.
An honest answer from Jason Moss, but yeah, that further pumps up the value of Davis Alexander, who's filled in so admirably for Cody Fajardo, as he is again today. Final play, opening quarter. And on that throw and reaching in, Elijah McGee in the coverage there, and Charleston Rambo. So that falls incomplete. First quarter is done. And both of these teams feel they should have more points on the board. Alouettes drove down, nearly at a touchdown. Right there, knocked away. And then Lewis Ward at a field goal try, which was blocked. So it's 3-0 Montreal heading to the second.
Get ready for an action-packed doubleheader with 2 epic matchups.
Touchdown!
Saturday, RedBlacks, Argos at 3 Eastern, noon Pacific on CTV. Then Alouettes, Lions at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific on TSN.
Through one quarter in this holiday Monday, 3-0 Alouettes. I'll let Dwayne Ford handle the rest because I got other things I have to tend to right now. Dwayne, go ahead.
Yes, I see you very focused there. Yeah, close on the stats sheet, close on the scoreboard. So far, probably a pretty good thing aside from block kick for the Ottawa RedBlacks.
Are you ready for some of this? I've been thinking about this all quarter. What do you think?
Well, you can go ahead and keep carving.
By the way,
ready.
You know, well equipped this way. I got the wooden fork to help me out.
Yeah.
Not sure. So, but who's complaining?
Yeah, the carving fork was approved by the shareholders.
If it gets desperate enough, we'll use our hands. I mean, we've been known to do that before. So happy Thanksgiving again, Canada. Hope you're having a great day and glad you could join us here. And if we don't say anything in a while, you'll know why. There's a challenge, Dwayne, on that last play of the first quarter, and Elijah McGee right here in this coverage of Charleston Rambo.
Yeah, keep an eye on the matchup out wide.
And here's what the command center decided.
Montreal challenged the previous play for defensive pass interference. We reviewed the play, and the ruling on the field stands. It'll be 3rd down, and Montreal will be charged with a timeout.
So no PI against Elijah McGee. And so the punting unit, Joseph Zima, is on. Jason Moss charged with a timeout. Lost. Zima will be getting it away around his 40. With Tobias Harris back for it. And off the hop, Harris waits. He gets it at the 25. And doesn't get much further than that. Right out at the RedBlacks bench. But there's a flag down right where Zima had got rid of the football. Is this going to be roughing the kicker?
Well, Zima found himself on the ground.
Contacting the kicker. Ottawa number 32. 10-yard penalty will result in a 1st down.
Silas Stewart's number is called for contacting the kicker.
You saw Stewart with the flyby grazing Zima as his legs still in the air on the follow-through. Bob Dice, longtime special teams coach in this league, certainly can talk about some of the finer points of the angle that you take in that situation.
So instead of Ottawa football, it'll stay in the hands of the Alouettes inside the RedBlacks 50 now, looking to add to the 3-point lead. Play action fake. Davis Alexander. He takes off, and he's known to run, but this time he does toss it, and he completes it nicely too. To Austin Dawson Mack, who gets it down, and a late flag too. A couple of flags coming out right around the Red Black 15 after that first down, and nice play by Davis Alexander when it looked like he'd be running to toss it off.
Yeah, the thing that impressed me on this play is you're going to see Davis Alexander running directly towards the sideline here as he's looking to try and break contain. His shoulders are facing the sideline, but the way that he adjusts both his feet and his shoulders to make sure he can make an accurate throw.
We have 2 fouls on the play, both on Ottawa number 4, face mask and a late hit out of bounds. We'll go half to the distance twice. Be first down.
So a gain of 26, and then those penalties on Money Hunter getting the start at safety today, and that'll push them right down around the 10-yard line.
Yeah, so you'll see the grab here first. I mean, you can make an argument on the stiff arm for face mask both ways, but Hunter getting called for both, and then for the over-enthusiastic finish into that signage on the sidelines.
So actually put down at the Ottawa 6, first and goal, a 42-yard difference on that play for the Alouettes. You add up the pass, Dawson Mack, and the penalties as well. And here we go, Alouettes. Thinking of Walter Fletcher. Davis Alexander keeps it! Touchdown! He took a hit down around the 1, and he pushed it through his first start since week 11. And Davis Alexander picks up the TD.
Yeah, you remember that fire and competitiveness of Davis Alexander that we talked about? Watch the way he finishes this run. Knows he's going to get whacked. He'll take that hit and come up talking about it.
And there was a flag thrown, Dwayne, in the end zone after that.
Yeah, I actually suspect it may have been against Alexander for the way he popped up and went after Money Hunter.
7 plays.
After the touchdown, we have a 10-yard misconduct. Ottawa, number 32. The penalty will be applied on the kickoff.
So instead, it goes against the RedBlacks again after that 7-play, 76-yard drive.
Well, they called it on 32. Silas Stewart, a rough drive for him, to say the least.
It was his penalty, contacting the kicker, that extended this Alouette drive that ended up with this, the touchdown and the point after by Jose Maltos. So suddenly, Davis Alexander and the Alouettes push this to a 2-score game. Alexander finds the end zone. His head coach loves it. CFL and TSN will be back Friday night. Tim Hortons Field in Hamilton. The Stampeders, Reggie Begelton, taking on his old quarterback, Bo Levi Mitchell. Mitchell faced the Stamps at McMahon to start the season. So he meets them again at his home park. Friday Night Football, 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific. Week 20 of 21 on TSN. There's Davis Alexander getting his 4th start. There was a penalty against Silas Stewart on that touchdown by Alexander that put them up 10-0. And that'll be applied on this kickoff now as it's from the 40 for Jose Maltos. RedBlacks. Tobias Harris on the return. 25, 30, 35, up close to the 40. Good return, Harris. And a game the RedBlacks are needing to win to get ahead of Toronto again in the race for 2nd place in a home playoff date. We know Bob Dice and the RedBlacks will play the Argos.
During the return, holding, Ottawa number 21. 10-yard penalty, first down.
4 straight penalties, RedBlacks, Dwayne, and we're talking about the team with more penalties than any other team in the CFL.
Yeah, and obviously pretty critical penalties. One right here, Silas Stewart grazing the kicker. Jonathan Zima charged with contacting the kicker. That keeps the drive alive. They had the defense off the field. And then Money Hunter takes 2 penalties that go half the distance, so 3/4 of the distance to the goal line from where they make the stop, setting up that touchdown run for Davis Alexander.
Well, this has been the story for Ottawa. Penalties just killing them. They'll start this drive inside the 10. Jeremiah Masoli. And he swings it off to Kalen Leyburn. It gets a block there from Anthony Gosselin, a first down. So nicely executed up across the 20 to give the RedBlacks some space in this possession now. Gain of 13.
And this one's a passing play that almost reminds you of a variation on a toss play is you're going to see the running back, Leyburn, is just going to swing out wide, but out in front of him is the fullback, and all the fullback is doing is waiting for the ball to get to Leyburn so he can block for him.
And Dustin Crum has come back on, so we've seen this before. Second time it's happened that Crum will come in, and they vary things up in their offenses. On that option, he keeps it, and he takes it for that pickup on first down. Had at least 5 there, second down coming up.
So this time Masoli will come right back into the ball game, but yeah, trying to force Montreal to defend the whole field in terms of the run game. Dustin Crum is a guy who can sort of attack you from anywhere in that sense, but you saw in that play as well with the fake to Pimpleton going out wide, trying to loosen up the ends a little bit, force them to widen out and contain, create a gap inside for Dustin Crum to run the football.
During their 3-game losing streak, the RedBlacks have not had the lead once. They trail by 10 here. Pressure coming. Mazzola, little pump, and he does get rid of it. There's a first down. A flag comes out. Nick Martiner, RedBlacks rookie, does have it, and what would be enough for the first down as we wait for the flag. Did I say before this play the penalties are killing the RedBlacks on what would be a first down for Ottawa?
Holding, Ottawa number 54. 10-yard penalty, repeat second down.
Yet another costly flag, this one to the left tackle, Jacob Ruby.
We'll take a look here at the veteran Ruby from his left tackle spot. Ball's going out in that direction. Saw that sort of pull down up as the D lineman tried to redirect it. They've done a pretty good job standing them up at the line of scrimmage.
So far, when just about whenever Ottawa does something well, they end up paying for it with a penalty. 2nd and 15 from the 27, and Khalil Pimpleton had in his mitts and dropped it, looking too quickly upfield, trying to turn it up. And instead, it's a third down, punting unit coming on.
And here it is, Lorenzo Burns playing that corner spot, gives Pimpleton a little bit of room. Able to make the clean catch, go after those after catch yards they were looking for.
Richie Leone standing back near his end zone. And a 10-point hole for the Ottawa RedBlacks. Currently 3rd in the East, a point behind the Argos, who had a big win in Winnipeg the other night. James Letcher just inside the Alouette 45 to the left, cuts it back after a punt at 51 yards. Letcher gets it up to midfield, and another flag comes out. Talked about, the penalties killing Ottawa. Kenzie Lalonde is going to have more on that when we come back. Holiday Monday in Montreal. Discipline has been very costly for the RedBlacks this season and in this game. Let's go back to Kenzie.
Yeah, Rod, honestly, it's challenging to see these penalties accumulate here for Ottawa, because in speaking with head coach Bob Dice this week, this was the area they were looking to clean up. Penalties and turnovers. As you guys had mentioned, the RedBlacks came into this game with the most penalized team, and they sit second to last in that turnover ratio at -11. And in the eyes of Bob Dice, it's controlling the controllable, and penalties and turnovers are very much in the hands of these players, and it's all about developing good habits right now, because next week it's the Argos, and with the implications there for home field advantage in the playoffs, you really want to develop those good habits now.
And Kenzie, if they don't win this game today, it'll be a must-win in Toronto, because if the Argos beat them in Toronto next week, then they will wrap up second place and the home playoff day. So it's still very important for Ottawa with Walter Fletcher in the ground. By the way, the Alouettes did start further back because they took a penalty, a roughing penalty in the previous play heading into the break. 2nd and long ahead for Alexander and the Owls.
Yeah, just on that punt return for Montreal, Jeffrey Cantin-Arcou had kind of a late shot at the punter, Richie Leone, who was on his way down to cover the kick. Keep an eye on Leone here coming in coverage. And the play is dead. Not sure Cantin-Arcou recognized that, follows through on the hit.
No gain, 2nd and 10, Alexander. Flushed out, Lorenzo Malden chasing him, and he takes off. Another good run. Davis Alexander gets up and gets a shove as well, but he had to rush rushing touchdown in their previous possession, and Money Hunter is the one that went after him clearly after the play was dead. A pickup of 12 yards.
Well, Davis Alexander hurting Ottawa in this ball game already with his legs, having run for a touchdown. Here picking up that first down on the move.
There's no flag there. Hunter got flagged twice in the same play against Austin Mack a few minutes earlier. So it's up to the Alouette 52 now, in charge, leading it by 10. Davis Alexander in his 4th start this season. Off to the right. That is caught. Fullback Jacob Mason. And a rare touch for Mason, who takes that one, and another first down for the Alouettes.
Well, you've got double fullbacks in the ball game. David Dallaire had a nice block, picking up the blitzing Damon Webb off the edge to allow that throw to happen. Jacob Mason out of McMaster, collecting the ball in the flat.
I said a rare touch? That was his first CFL touch.
Well, very rare.
So now he has one in a row in his 2nd year now, as you mentioned, out of Mac. Jacob Mason with the catch and the first down. The Ottawa 41. Sean Thomas Erlington, he bounces off a man and then back, so lost yardage for Thomas Erlington, coming to Montreal this year after several years with the Hamilton Tiger Cats, coming back home where he played for the Cataban College.
The arrival here of Sean Thomas Erlington in Montreal. We have a lot of depth at the running back spot. Jeshrin Antwi had been here as well. 2 well-established Canadian players behind Walter Fletcher at that running back spot. Antwi, of course, recently traded to the BC Lions. He is a pending free agent at season's end.
So we assume we'll see more of Thomas Erlington in relief of Walter Fletcher. He does stay in there after lost yardage. And it's a throw by Alexander to the left. Reaching up to get it was Austin Mack, bumped out there by Elijah McGee. So that's no good. And a 3rd down is coming up here for the Alouettes.
Well, here you see Austin Mack, just his 2nd game with the Alouettes in this 2024 season. Of course, was absent for the first part of the season while pursuing NFL opportunities, and then injured in his first appearance upon his return.
Well, he made it count in his first year in the CFL last year. One of the top offensive players in the league. He had a great cup in Hamilton against Winnipeg as well. Scored a touchdown on that one, had a circus catch in that game, and went out, tried out for Atlanta in the NFL. So coming back late and for getting hurt in his first game, this just his 2nd one now, late in the season. Punt of 34 yards. Tobias Harris up across the 15 to about the 16. So again, more pushing and shoving after the fact with Harris now. Tempers flaring. Alouettes lead. It's 10-0. Thanksgiving Monday in Montreal. An HBO original limited series streaming now only on Crave. Always thought you would have liked the Joker more.
Yeah, no, the Penguin reminds me of a friend of mine.
Leave it at that. Leave it at that. Okay. Anyway. I kind of like the Riddler. 1st and 10. Ottawa 16. RedBlacks fighting to get it to the 20 now is Kalen Laburn, the ball carrier. As Dwayne mentioned, coming in after they let go Raquel Armstead, who later went to the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Laburn played his college ball at Marshall.
Laburn went to camp with the Toronto Argonauts this season. Had spent a little bit of time on the Edmonton practice roster at the end of last year. Dealt to Toronto in the offseason.
Good crowd in the rain here at McGill. Izzoli throwing, and it's caught. First catch of the afternoon for Andre Miller. Added to this lineup with the receiving injuries a few weeks ago. And Miller has the catch, and Ottawa has the first down. Or, excuse me. Well, they're late moving it along. There we go.
Miller out of the University of Maine. Just a 6'2", 230-pounder.
They bring it up, mark it at the 29, a 1st and 10 for the RedBlacks. Mardner in motion to the left, then going back to the right. 2 receivers out to the left, looking that way as Mazzoli. Belts it off, nearly picked off. A flag is out. Jeffrey Cantar-Coup, the Alouette rookie, had a shot at the ball and nothing but daylight ahead, had he been able to catch it. But as said, there is a flag on that play, just right around that area.
Yeah, with all the movement before the play, I suspect Ottawa may have had a formation issue here.
Procedure, no end, Ottawa. That penalty is declined. 2nd down.
Right you are. No end, the RedBlacks, and tack on another penalty for Ottawa.
Yeah, Cantar-Coup right on the right side of your screen recognizes the back is releasing to the flat, and he just slips into that passing lane underneath. The great pick this guy has proven to be for the Alouettes.
Great pick, who nearly had a pick. Taken in the 1st round, 9th overall by Montreal in the most recent draft. Jeffrey Cantar-Coup, so 2nd and 10 at the Ottawa 29. Mazzoli flushed out to the right, correcting traffic, takes off, and he gets pushed by Dominic in from behind, just out of bounds, just shy of a 1st down. Nearly got there.
And it looked like it, as you'll see Mazzoli get out on the edge here, had he committed sort of a split second earlier to running, he had a lot of room in front of him, but was still keeping hopes open and trying to toss that one. Still very close to a 1st down, but knocked down from behind, as you said, by Dominic in pursuit.
And Bob Dice on 3rd and 1, not taking any chances in their own zone, just shy of their 40. Richie Leone is coming on. They're in a 10-point hole and doesn't want to risk a turnover here, so Leone will punt it away.
In fairness, a long one.
Yeah.
1+.
Low driving punt into the rain, taken by James Letcher at the 30. Letcher, 45. He's got something going. Here comes Letcher inside the 40. And the 35, Adrian Fry, the last one, getting him out of bounds with Letcher. Mentioned at the big 100-yard punt return touchdown against the Argos in his last game has put the Alouettes in business now.
Well, James Letcher, so electric for the Alouettes in their stretch run last season. Picking up a little bit of steam here. Great return as he gets to the sideline. Well into Ottawa territory, and I suspect
After the play, we have a 15-yard misconduct foul on Ottawa number 48.
Wow.
1st down.
Just keeps going. Gary Johnson that time. And even before the penalty, it was a 45-yard punt and a 46-yard return. Now you can tack on some penalty yards for Montreal.
Well, keep an eye on Gary Johnson. Kind of in the middle of your screen. Goes after Terrell Richards. Takes a shot there. That wasn't even what got him the flag, though. It was the fact that he continued on, wouldn't let up, despite a teammate trying to pull him out of there. Richie Leone's trying to get him out of there. And then he takes a jab at another Alouettes player. That's when the flag threw.
Still in the first half. 5 minutes to go until halftime. 6 penalties, 56 yards for the RedBlacks. Some really damaging one, too. Here's a look into the end zone, a bit too far for the intended receiver, Austin Mack. Open for a while, but that closed before Alexander got rid of it, and it falls incomplete. 2nd down.
Yeah, this one ends up being a bit of a dangerous throw. You see Mack at the top of your screen has some separation, but not a great throw there from Alexander. That one gets away from him. Nice route. The defender, Milan, has time to close on him as the ball sails long.
Austin Mack, who has 2 catches so far in this game for 34 yards. Here's 2nd and 10. Look into the end zone again. Coverage is there. Nearly intercepted by Hunter, the ex-Alouette. And because of injury, hasn't played much for Ottawa this year and nearly had a pick with Cole Speaker, the intended target.
Davis Alexander going vertical here. Money Hunter showing his range from the middle of the field, getting out there to make a play on the ball.
There have been some bright spots for the RedBlacks secondary in this game. The play there by Hunter and also the one in the first quarter by Dandridge to break up what looked like a sure touchdown for Can Julian Grant. So field goal unit out. Jose Maltos puts it through. He's 2 for 2 on the afternoon as the Alouettes improve to 13-0. We hope you're having a happy Thanksgiving and watching us in the CFL on TSN. We asked Bob Dice his CFL Thanksgiving memories.
It's probably my first year in the league. Coach Ritchie was the head coach, and he had everybody over to his place, all the coaches, all the players, and so it was good, because you always feel for these coaches who are away from their families, right, and players are away from their families, and everybody getting together. I always thought that was a fantastic first Thanksgiving in the CFL.
Bob Dice referring to his days in Winnipeg, too. Winnipeg native and first CFL job with Dave Ritchie and the Blue Bombers, and later went to Saskatchewan, was interim head coach there, and with the RedBlacks since 2016, part of the Grey Cup champions there. And they said it was Thanksgiving Monday 2 years ago that Bob Dice was head coach in Ottawa for the first time, and they won that one. That one, trying that screen to Gosselin, it falls incomplete. Jacob Ruby, they had to juggle things with the injury to Dino Boyd, and Ruby, who was normally playing on the right side of the line and at guard, moved over to get the start at left tackle.
Jacob Ruby's the kind of guy you love to have as your sixth lineman because of that versatility.
2nd and 10, throwing and not caught. In and out of the hands of Khalil Pimpleton, down low. Would have been shy again by at least a yard of a first down. And instead, punting unit comes on again for Ottawa.
You're seeing the Montreal defense, as I talked earlier, playing with a lead, making things very difficult on Jeremiah Masoli and the Ottawa O as they try to get a little bit of traction in this ball game.
They're great with the lead. The RedBlacks, mentioned the last 3 games, not so good after falling behind, and they haven't had a lead in this 3-game losing streak. Punt of 48 yards. Letcher goes down. The RedBlacks clinching a playoff spot last week. Or 2 weeks ago, excuse me, despite a loss. As Davis Alexander comes on. 6 of 13, 103, and has scored a touchdown on the ground.
Alexander, part of what could be a very interesting free agent quarterback period in the offseason.
Made an immediate impression in that game against Saskatchewan here back in week 8 when Jason Moss made the change. Cody Fajardo was hurt. Caleb Evans had been the quarterback. And Walter Fletcher carrying, but Alexander came on. We had seen so little of him. And 2 drives, 2 touchdowns, and the Alouettes got close. He ended up pulling ahead of the Riders and winning that one by 4.
What we've seen from Davis Alexander to me speaks a little bit as to what you want your development model to be for a young quarterback in the CFL is not forcing them, having them in a situation where they're not forced to have to play too soon, where they can develop and learn and genuinely be ready when they get their opportunity, and Alexander has been that now in his 3rd year.
3-minute warning has been issued. Alouette football, Alouette lead as well. Close to halftime.
I can't even tell you how excited I am for halftime, but for some reason, every single person in this studio isn't. What's that thing in Turkey? What's that called? Anyone? Who's that guy?
Tryptophan, Kate. And it is kicking in because they have skeletonized that bird. We, unfortunately, haven't had the same opportunity to eat our turkey. Happy Thanksgiving on this drizzly holiday Monday in Montreal. Getting close to halftime. Kate and the panel will take over if Kate can wake them up by then. Davis Alexander on a 2nd and 6 takes off. He's running well in this game today. The touchdown carry is a big first down carry as well, as the Alouettes will hope to add to their lead before halftime as he gets some help getting up.
Pretty good hole to run through on this one, as you'll see the Alouettes offensive line go to work. Alexander hitting that left A gap between Pierre-Olivier Lestage and Justin Lawrence.
You see Bennett Williams coming in, punching at the ball, and also making some contact with the helmet of Davis Alexander, who now 6 for 13 passing, but running 4 for 34 and a touchdown. Play action fake, throwing again, down he goes. They've got him sacked, and it's Michael Wakefield, one of the sack leaders on the RedBlacks. In fact, with that, he stands alone in the sack department for Ottawa, picking up his 7th of the season.
Yeah, and here you'll see Wakefield from his D tackle spot. A little bit of a loop there as you see Cleon Lang occupies the center, creates a bit of a pick on the guard, Philippe Gagnon, as Wakefield loops around to get to the quarterback. Great teamwork there between those veteran DTs.
I don't want to shortchange Michael Wakefield, so I misspoke. That's his 8th sack of the season, leading the way for the RedBlacks, for a player that's played predominantly in Ottawa and also had a season here with the Alouettes too. 2nd and 19, Alexander. And under siege and taken down, and the ball comes out, and alertly Josh Donovan is falling on it. Then it squirts out again, but it was Davion Taylor coming in that got to Alexander, and out came the football.
Yeah, here you'll see the tail end as Alexander thinks he can just outrun Taylor around the corner to take off with this one. But Taylor does a nice job wrapping him up.
Looked like he was actually trying to dish that off, didn't it?
It did. Lineman was the closest man to him. Walter Fletcher was also sort of in the same, along the same line, but just further downfield. Not sure if that's what he was thinking.
So the RedBlacks to get the ball back. Over a minute and a half to go, and they'll have good field position too. Tobias Harris ventures into the Alouette zone after stopping for a bit and taking off again, and a flag comes out. Yet another penalty. Another penalty against the Ottawa RedBlacks. And a little conversation now, too. Bob Dice with the officials.
During the return, we have 2 penalties on Ottawa. Holding, Ottawa number 46. Major foul, roughing, Ottawa number 48. Be a first down.
That's another one for Gary Johnson. Boy, they got to get this reined in at halftime, Dwayne. That's 2 plays now where they have had 2 flags against them.
An opportunity to host a playoff game on the line here. The Ottawa RedBlacks suffering from a number of self-inflicted wounds.
They had a chance on the Harris return to get it to start inside the Montreal zone and get some points on the board. They're losing 13-0 instead. 8 penalties for 81 yards, and they're going to start this drive late in the half back at their 25. The flags are just killing them. Mazzoli, first down. And the sweep, Pimpleton, who's pinned down there by Isaac Adeyemi Berglund after a pickup of 5.
Adeyemi Berglund has been a nice addition for the Montreal Alouettes this season. The former Calgary Stampeder first-round pick, 3rd overall back in 2020, now in his 4th year. Dartmouth, Nova Scotia native. 9 tackles for loss this season to lead the Alouettes.
Adeyemi Berglund and Derek Wigan, a couple of free agents who left the Calgary Stampeders and signed on the Alouettes. defense coached by Noel Thorpe. Rolling to the right is Mazzoli. Gets rid of it. Right down near the first down marker, but no, Mardner got the ball, but he's out of bounds. Incomplete pass. And that's it. Again for the RedBlacks. 1:02 in the clock till halftime.
Well, you see Mardner right along that sideline, but unable to haul that one in.
Does not hang on to it and feed out of bounds. Well for Nick Mardner. So now, with another good return by Letcher, the Alouettes could have a chance before heading to the dressing room to add to it as he's coming up around the 45. Letcher goes to midfield after a punt of 38 yards, and he ventures into the RedBlack zone, but again, a flag is out on that return.
During the return, holding. Montreal number 82. 10-yard penalty. First down.
I'm sure Ottawa's happy to see a flag go against the other guys for a change. And that does push the Alouettes back a bit down to their 40. Kate, Matt, Jim, Enoch. Kate is awake. We do have evidence of that. But the tryptophan had kicked in for the other three. So this could be a very short halftime. We'll see. We'll look forward to their happy Thanksgiving to them as well. Back in the studio to everyone, and look forward to hearing their thoughts on this game so far. Davis Alexander, and in a tight window, completes that one to Charleston Rambo. About 5 yards. The Alouettes found out before their game against the Argos 2 weeks ago they had indeed clinched first place in the East. That was after Ottawa's loss in Saskatchewan. So this, in essence, is their second game being played, knowing they'd already clinched #1 spot in the East Division. Cole Speaker with that catch across midfield. 35 seconds still on the clock and a first down.
Yeah, we talk a lot late in the season about potential award winners in the Canadian Football League. Is here you'll see Cole Speaker lining up as the inside slot, 3 receiver to the field, number 3. You know, I've always wished they had a breakout player award in the league for veteran guys who sort of step up. Cole Speaker.
Intercepted Damon Webb. And what a turn here for the RedBlacks. Hands it off to Money Hunter, but they're going backwards. They got to consider the clock as well. It's down to 15 seconds until halftime, but this certainly gives Ottawa a chance to get something on the board with Damon Webb getting that pick. Remember, he had 2 pick sixes against the Argos a few weeks ago. Their flag is out.
And you'll see Webb right at the left edge of your screen in coverage.
After the play, we have a 10-yard misconduct penalty on Ottawa number 14. Be 10-yard penalty.
Well, whenever Ottawa does something well, there's always a penalty to ruin things for him on a good play here by Webb.
Yeah, I mean, they get a gift that essentially gives them a chance to get points going in at halftime. I mean, the look on Bob Dice's face, that look of exasperation, says it all. It looks like a lot of beacon between players and coaches at the benches.
Discipline's been a big problem, especially for the Ottawa RedBlacks in the first half. See if they can salvage something. Mazzoli does complete that one. And that's Andre Miller, and clearly down. The Alouettes flow to the ball, but that's down. It's Ottawa football as they get that much closer, and certainly within the range of Lewis Ward. 9 seconds to go.
Yeah, when you look at what this game could have been, how different the picture could be on the scoreboard, and obviously still a close game given the amount of time remaining. It's just, it's tough to play from behind against Montreal. You can't give them gifts that let them go up. You think about a Montreal touchdown scoring drive that's extended by a penalty and cut Silas Stewart some slack.
And now down to 1 second. It's a good thing Kalen Leyburn got down when he did.
Yeah.
That would have been just the story of the RedBlacks in this half, so they still do have time, barely enough time to get the field goal unit out and see if Lewis Ward can get him on the board.
And I was going to say, cut Silas Stewart some slack. That's a physical mistake. He gets a little bit too close to the kicker. That extends the drive, but the discipline penalties are the ones that
absolutely
drive coaches nuts, and the ones that have really killed them in the first half of this ball game. They shouldn't be down by 13, or at least they could have controlled the situation to have kept it closer would be a better way to express it.
Second field goal try for Lewis Ward. The first one in the first quarter was blocked. Out and down, and this one gets kicked, and it is through. And the RedBlacks got that late pick from Damon Webb that gave him a chance to salvage something from a miserable first half here at Molson Stadium in Montreal. And Bob Dice, you have to think, he'll have a few things to say to his players at halftime regarding the discipline problems that have plagued them. Davis Alexander, good first half. Here he is now with Kenzie.
Davis, first things first, Mother Nature bringing us this gift of a cold day, a rainy day. How are you managing the weather?
I'm good. We're used to it, you know, from the Pacific Northwest. So dealt with this my whole college career.
Continuing to march this field here in the first half, just how have you been able to find some momentum here?
Yeah, guys are getting open. We're making plays. We're extending. You know, it's a physical game out here. They're juice, we're juice, and we got to find a way to bring this one home at home.
Best of luck.
Appreciate it.
Kate, over to you.
Kenzie back alongside Enoch Mwamba, Matt Dunnigan, Jim Barker. Montreal with a 10-point lead, and let us start with Davis Alexander. By the way, we will get to the penalties of Ottawa, too. Just so incredibly undisciplined in that first half. But let's go to the Als QB. And you know what? Overall, pretty good. I mean, the weather itself, I mean, that's not going to help when it comes to being a quarterback. But 120 yards, but then that faux pas right at the end of the first half kind of put a damper on it.
That's right. Up until the last two series for the Montreal Alouettes, I thought Davis Alexander was playing extremely well. I mean, this is a type of quarterback that you want to see when you don't have your starting quarterback, and having a guy like that on a team where you're missing your starting quarterback, it brings a lot of confidence. But you see here, he's able to maneuver in the pocket, escape the defenders, and then he has the presence of mind to think, you know what, no, I'm not going to go and cross the line of scrimmage. I'll find my receiver. So it proves that the game is a little bit slow for him. He's able to think on the run as well, and he's tough as well. You see that, although it didn't help him later in the half, but he is tough, and he thinks about it again. His savviness, he's able to find his way around the field, escapes the pocket, gets a first down. He does what he needs to do. And what I loved here was the fact that a lot of times, Matty, you got to have an old lineman, you got to have a receiver to come protect your quarterback. Guess what? He said, I'll do it myself. I don't need anybody to speak for me.
He's a baller.
Yeah, but that at the end of that play, that money hunter came up and he didn't get called for that one. They did get called for 9 penalties, and most of them were that type, just the undisciplined type. Money hunter had one down by the end zone. He had this one, didn't get called. We run into the kicker, which again, the guy's making an effort, but his angle was just wrong. Here, Money Hunter just throws him out of bounds, which again, as he should, Davis Alexander ran over him on the goal line. So you hate to, you see a guy make a late hit like that. I love seeing him get run over that same series. But there's, the two things about Ottawa that are shocking to me is in a game that's so important, their penalties are out of control. 9 penalties. They lead the league already. But in a game they have to win, they need to play better. The penalties are killing them, and they're special teams. Bob Dice is a special teams coach. Special teams, they've given up a big return. They've missed a field goal. They've had the running into the kicker. Just too many errors in those parts of the game, Matt.
Yeah, coming off a bye week, huge game against your rival. I know you can be jacked up a little bit too much, but at this point, no discipline. A lot of I-me play right now by the Ottawa RedBlacks, and they don't look like the team that is playing for a W to try to put them in position to secure home playoff spot. Look at this. This team looks like they're trending in the wrong direction. The last 3 games, it has not been good for the RedBlacks, and it continues here in the first half. And they were given an opportunity by the young quarterback, who we like his toughness of play. But really, if you look at what Montreal did, they dominated this front, and then more of the same. He pulls it down, and late here, bang. We all thought that he was in trouble right there. This shot, he takes a headshot right there, and he came up woozy. He had to be picked up off the football field. And then what happens on the next play? He takes another shot to the head and gets sandwiched here. The very next series, he goes out there and throws this pass. And we're like, where's he throwing that ball? And nobody is around. And throws up a red flag for a young quarterback that we know is tough as nails and has played extremely well in the absence of Cody Fajardo. And I'm just a little bit concerned with him. I'd take a big, long look at him in halftime and assess him. But at this point, the assessment of the Montreal Alouettes when they're rolling out a lot of their second-teamers and the backups looks like a team that's locked and loaded, and the RedBlacks looks like they're going the opposite direction.
He's got so much toughness, but you never want to have toughness be the thing that people don't like about you, right? But he's at the place where he's trying to figure out, okay, how much toughness should I be utilizing?
Yeah, because when he ran in for the touchdown, we're all like, okay, we like that. We like that gumption, right?
But tougher the better. Come on.
But, can you take that knife out? It's just very terrifying.
You know
It's like a Halloween setup here.
Yeah.
All right. Highlights.
That's better.
That's the traitors.
Highlights from the week that was. Argonauts taking on the Blue Bombers Friday night. Late in the fourth, Bombers down by 2, facing third and very long. Zach Collaros calls his own number. He takes off, fully extends on the dive for the first down. Seems to keep the drive alive, but the chains were needed. And he's marked just short. Bombers fail to clinch first in the West. Argos take it 14-11 your final. Let's head to Saturday now. Elks and Stampeders, fourth quarter action, a 1-point game. Trey Ford going to find Gino Lewis in the end zone. Elks looking to sweep the season series for the first time since 2002. Stamps, one more play for the win. Matthew Schiltz, he overthrows it. Elks take it 23-18. Lions taking on the Rough Riders. Winner gets a home playoff game. Just over a minute in, Nathan Rourke pass over to William Stanback, bobbled. A.J. Allen grabs it, runs it back for a 48-yard pick six. Watch this again, though. This was wild. This ball actually takes 9 bounces before it's hauled in. 9. Doesn't even happen. Riders dominate. They will host a postseason game for the first time in 3 years. They take it 39-8. They put a beating on the Lions. Not the time to slide down the standings, is it? Speaking of the standings, as we take a look, Winnipeg and Saskatchewan still battling it out for top spot in the West. We know that BC is currently locked into third. Montreal, of course, they're locked into that top spot for the battle for second, though. Between Toronto and Ottawa is going to be absolutely fantastic. And the great part is these two teams go head-to-head. Jim, it doesn't get much better at the end of the season having a game like this on the schedule.
No, Matt, here's the bottom line. Ottawa's problem is not Toronto. That's the least of their problems. Their problem is Ottawa. They have to get themselves squared away. Matt and I were just talking about, this team is imploding at the most important time. Their offense has been anemic. They're playing terrible special teams, and they have a special teams head coach. Ottawa needs to get Ottawa's problems. I don't think it matters. I think Toronto is that's the least of their problems.
Yeah, you go back to week 14 when Ottawa won a game and beat Toronto in the pouring down rain conditions. Chad threw 4 interceptions in that ball game, and I don't think that's indicative of his play because the two football teams have gone 2 different directions since then. That was the last good football game that they actually played, and they were given golden opportunities by so many turnovers by Toronto. Toronto's cleaned that up. The way their defensive line played Friday night against Winnipeg was just outstanding. outstanding, dismantled that Winnipeg offensive line, and I had a firsthand view of watching that happen. This football team, I got a sense, is trending. Kate, you said it. It's not the time to slide down the standings this time of year, and this football team certainly do it. And, you know, it should be a slobber knocker next week, and I'm looking forward to it. But what I see happening is Chad Kelly's playing solid football, and their defense is outstanding. Special teams with the RedBlacks is declining as well, and you got Liram Hajrullahu and Haggerty doing the things for Toronto. I see Toronto playing really good football, and they're going to take care of business.
I mean, they're going in different directions, and I love the way that Toronto is playing right now. They have a lot of confidence. You saw what they did in the last game. Plenty of confidence going into the playoffs. Exactly what you want to do. This is the time that you want to heat up at, and Ottawa is not doing that.
No. You know, as I said, it doesn't get much better than week 20 of the CFL schedule. You get a game like this. First up, though, it is the Stampeders taking on the Tiger Cats. You can see that 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific. That game between the RedBlacks and the Argonauts, it will be on CTV at 3 Eastern, noon Pacific on Saturday. And it all wraps up with the Alouettes taking on the BC Lions. But we still have a game to wrap up here in week 19, and that's, of course, between the Alouettes and the RedBlacks and S.J. Green. Can we see him under those umbrellas?
There he is.
He is being honored by the Als at halftime. His former team currently up by 10.
Get ready for an action-packed doubleheader with 2 epic matchups.
Touchdown!
Saturday, RedBlacks, Argos at 3 Eastern, noon Pacific on CTV. Then, Alouettes, Lions at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific on TSN.
Halftime in Montreal, the Alouettes leading the Ottawa RedBlacks 13-3. The RedBlacks salvaged something, Dwayne Ford, late in the half thanks to a turnover, but penalties are really hurting them. 10 penalties for 107 yards.
Yeah, you heard the panel talk about it extensively at halftime. They've dug themselves into such a hole, and their opponents against whom you can get away with that. Montreal is not a team against whom you want to take that chance. I'll put it that way.
Jeremiah Masoli, the starting quarterback in this one with the injury to Drew Brown. His numbers, 6 for 11 for 57 yards. Seen Dustin Crum a couple of times in as they changed up the offensive package a bit, but it's Masoli most of the way in his 3rd start this season, coming off a game 2 weeks ago in Saskatchewan when he threw 3 interceptions. But yes, the discipline, I would assume Bob Dice would have had something to say to his team regarding that and how costly it's been.
Well, and that's part of the frustration for me when I look at this, is both these teams had buys last week. And so the things that Ottawa needed to clean up, needed to do better, etc., it's not like Bob Dice mentioned them to them for the first time this morning, right? This is the message they have been getting for the last 2 weeks. We need to do this better, and to come out and not respond is disappointing to see from an Ottawa perspective.
After this game, the RedBlacks will have 2 games left in Toronto and then at home against Hamilton. But if they don't win this game, the Argos can clinch second place in home field for the playoffs against them if they beat them next week in Toronto. So the second half is underway. Tobias Harris on the return. They get it up to the 40, and see if the game changes at all after that halftime break for Masoli and the RedBlacks.
Yeah, and this is one of those times where you want to see, when you're Bob Dice, Jeremiah Masoli, you want to see your team really take advantage of the fact that you are starting the 3rd quarter with the ball. You got points gifted to you right at the end of the first half. You're getting back-to-back possessions. Make the most out of them and maybe make this a 1-score ball game right out of the gate in the 3rd quarter.
So here we go, Masoli faking the handoff to Labor. Tosses it off to Khalil Pimpleton, and Jeffrey Cantar-Arcu comes in nicely and stops him in his tracks for no gain.
Cantar-Arcu, not listed as a starter, but certainly plays a lot of snaps. Lines up, like many of the Alouettes defenders, in several different places for them defensively. Great group of linebackers, though. He gets out there with Sankey and Beverin.
Another 2nd and long coming up here for Masoli. 3 receivers out to the left and 2 to the right. He's looking to the left. He throws that way, and it is caught right at midfield with a defender coming in, Mardner. keeps his concentration, hangs on to the football. RedBlacks big first down at midfield.
Well, from talking about the 9th overall pick to the 2nd overall pick, that's Nick Mardner lined up as the Z receiver out wide, top of your screen. Long throw to get it out there, but he drives the defender off, comes back to the football. Well placed ball for a first down.
Gain of 15. And it's Crum that came in, and Masoli was part of that package too. Crum faked the handoff to Jeremiah Masoli before keeping it himself. So not something you see every day, and a pickup of 3 yards for Crum.
Well, the interesting thing to me about the design of this play, would it not be more threatening to have Masoli handing it off to Crum on the sweep? Jeremiah Masoli lines up as the 2 receiver, and he's going to run across. You're going to see a fake handoff here.
Second and 7. Masoli to the left again and caught again. Another first down. Nice pass there by Masoli, who goes this time to Andre Miller as they quickly move down the field.
And Andre Miller is in that slot. Number 2 receiver out to the left side, working towards the corner here. You see Tyrese Beverett, the linebacker. Linebacker by name, all over the field, defender by job description.
Well, what a year he has had. One of the top defenders in the CFL, and we talked about it before, probably in the conversation for most outstanding player. On the fake and then keeping it was Dustin Crum back in. So we see Crum a couple of times in at quarterback in this possession, as we saw in the first half.
And now see, I like this personnel a little better for what they were doing with that play action, where it's Pimpleton as opposed to Masoli as the guy who's threatening the edge. The defenders are going to honor that a little more in terms of widening to open up the middle for Dustin Crum.
So it's 2nd and 5 now after that 5-yard pickup by Crum. The Montreal 24 now. RedBlacks down 10. Needing to make something happen. And it's Pimpleton with the ball. Looking to get that first down. He gets close to it. Deontay Ruffin coming in and gets him out right around the first down marker.
And here it's just a matter of getting the ball into Pimpleton's hands. Give Dustin Crum, when he's in the ball game, high percentage throws to make just right down the line of scrimmage. Let Pimpleton try and make people miss.
And Crum stays in again on that short yardage play. A flag does come out, so we see a flag now in the second half. What would be a first down for Ottawa, as said, for playing the percentages. So many of the flags have been against the RedBlacks so far this game. However, 3rd down and short, as Jeremiah Masoli is coming back on.
We have 2 penalties on Montreal. Offside, that penalty be declined. Too many players. Montreal will go half the distance. First down.
So yeah, for the RedBlacks, that's more like it. They get down. It's not a penalty costing them in a significant moment, as they're threatening now, and threatening even more thanks to the penalties against Montreal.
Perhaps a sign that not just the RedBlacks are getting the message, perhaps the tide turning here a little bit for Ottawa.
It's a 1st and goal. It's right inside the 10 for the Ottawa RedBlacks. No touchdown yet this game. Masoli. He tried to dump it off to Pimpleton. Coverage was there, and that play got a little messed up at the end, and it's a 2nd down and goal for Ottawa now.
Yeah, Montreal had this well defended all the way. A couple of receivers out to that left side. Masoli suggesting maybe needed a little different arm angle to try and slip that one through to Pimpleton.
Ended up Deontay Ruffin the closest to the ball there. 2nd down and goal. Ottawa, early second half, but sure they're thinking they need to find the end zone. Here's a look for it right now. Nearly intercepted. Closest to it was Kavion Ento of the Alouettes. The intended target, Dominic Rhymes, but that one off target and nearly an interception. 3rd and goal coming up.
Yeah, Rhymes is going to be lined up on the ball here. He's working towards the corner. Nick Martner has the shorter route to that side. Or, excuse me, Ackland went flat, but the overthrow to Rhymes kind of lands in no man's land.
So now a 17-yard field goal try for Lewis Ward, 1 for 2. First try was blocked, and then at the end of the half he got one, and there's 3 more points on the board for Ottawa. So at least they start the second half with a drive for some points. Davis Alexander, starting quarterback for the Alouettes in this game, about to come back on.
Well, Davis Alexander getting the start today for the Montreal Alouettes in the absence of Cody Fajardo. Pretty good first half for him, using his legs a lot. Sometimes to create openings for his receivers, sometimes just doing the damage himself on the ground. Had a touchdown run in the opening 30 minutes of this ball game. It's been a typical fired-up Davis Alexander kind of performance.
You heard Matt Dunnigan at the half talking, though, about the way it ended for him. With you're taking a couple of hits and then throwing that ball that wasn't close to a receiver that got intercepted. But you're right, overall, especially with his running ability, too, was a solid first half, certainly. They led it 13-3. It's now 13-6, handing off to Walter Fletcher, going nowhere. Bennett Williams, the strong side linebacker, in for a Darius Pickett, who is out for the season, coming in to make the tackle.
Yeah, Montreal starting this second half trying to run the rock a little bit with Walter Fletcher. Williams, as you mentioned, a guy who made some starts in the secondary earlier in the season as they got healthier on the back end, found himself playing a little more on special teams, but stepping in. Big shoes to fill in the absence of Darius Pickett.
The RedBlacks missing Pickett for the season, missing Javon Santos-Knox, a veteran little linebacker. There's a sack coming in, and this time it's Lorenzo Molden. Yet his 7th sack of the season. Michael Wakefield had his 8th sack of the season to tie for the lead earlier. That was back in the first half, but they get to him again.
Lorenzo Molden, 2 years ago, the CFL's most outstanding defensive player and sacks leader. Comes up with a big one here as Ottawa looking to keep the momentum going to start this third quarter.
So much better start for the RedBlacks. They go down, they get the field goal. Their defense stops them here. Zima with the punt, so Ottawa to get the ball back. Here's Tobias Harris off the hop. Just stops right at the 35. He backtracks after a punt at 44, finds himself some space. 45, 50, midfield and more. Good return, knocked out there by Bryce Cosby after a 24-yard return for Tobias Harris. So a good place to start for the RedBlacks on offense. Lorenzo Molden coming in, tracking him down, sacks Davis Alexander. RedBlack ball. Brandon Bridge, remember him. Tune in tomorrow at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific on TSN. Yes, tomorrow. Sometimes forget it's a holiday Monday now. Happy Thanksgiving. Lots of fans out here at Molson Stadium, the campus of McGill University, ready for the rain. And to watch the Alouettes, knowing they will be hosting the Eastern Final next month. On the carry is Kalen Leyburn. Ottawa has cut into the lead a bit by 3 points last time they had the ball. They started the Alouette zone. Leyburn taking it just inside the Montreal 50.
Well, good start in all 3 phases of the game to this third quarter for the Ottawa RedBlacks. Offense marching down the field, putting some points up to make this a 1-score ball game. You never want to let the Alouettes get out of reach on you. Defense gets a stop, and a good return by Tobias Harris has Ottawa starting this drive in Montreal territory. Now can they keep it going in a second and long?
Mazzoli is 9 for 16 for 95 yards. Throwing again. Short one, but enough for a first down to Dominic Rhymes. So throws that out, and he gets just enough to get to the yard marker. A gain of 9 more yards. First down, RedBlacks.
Yeah, quick hitter here. You'll see the zip and accuracy on this football from Jeremiah Mazzoli. I've talked at times this year about the CFL's quarterback class of 2012. Group of veteran guys all still playing. Masoli, Bo Levi Mitchell, Trevor Harris, Zach Collaros. Masoli sometimes the forgotten guy with the injuries the last couple of years.
From the 39 and a 1st and 10. Masoli flushed out of the pocket. Dominic was chasing him. He does throw it, and it looks like it's caught there by Mardner down inside the 30. It is indeed a catch for the rookie Mardner. And another first down. Let's get an injury update on the RedBlacks from Kenzie.
Yeah, so Bladek out now with a hand injury, so he will not return here for the Ottawa RedBlacks on that O-line. So adjustments mid-game here as they look to strike back against the Alouettes.
All right, Kenzie, so shifting things in the offensive line. Dante Bull, their first overall pick back in 2023 coming in. They had designs at right tackle for him, but he goes in for the injury to Darius Bladek.
Yeah, well, it was back-to-back high picks for Ottawa. Zach Pelios a couple of years ago at number 2 overall, then Bull at number 1 overall last year.
Preston Crum in. Quarterback draw. Design run as Adeyemi Berglund takes him down after just a couple of yards.
And now you're seeing Bull and Pelios playing beside each other on the right side of this offensive line with Bull, BC native, out of Fresno State, lining up on the inside. Eric Starsalad has been in at center. Cyril Hogan-Saint-Don has been on the injured list through much of this second half of the season as well.
And with Dino Boyd injured, their left tackle, Jacob Ruby in there, so a lot of change in that Red-Black offensive line. 2nd and 9 from the Montreal 27. Masoli back in. It is caught. Waiting for it was Pimpleton. And Deontay Ruffin several yards away from him. So Pimpleton wide open, and they're able to move it down. Running in short passes. Another first down.
Yeah, Pimpleton out wide on this one. Masoli just inside the right hash. Zips it out there. You see the coverage drops off completely. Tons of room for Pimpleton. The ball's got time to travel out to that wide side without concern of a turnover.
Khalil Pimpleton back in the lineup with 4 catches, 36 yards. And a 1st and 10. Here come the RedBlacks at the Montreal 13, down by a touchdown. Masoli wanted to dump it off to Leyburn, who hadn't been looking, and finally looked like he was just turning around at the last moment, but not able to turn around enough to get the ball. You could tell Masoli was trying to get it to him.
Yeah, you're going to see Leyburn, who's to the left of your screen, comes across the formation on his way out to the flat. And it was just that angle. He kind of knew that the ball might be coming as Masoli was rolling his way, but he went from looking over his left shoulder to looking over his right shoulder in that split second where his back was turned. He couldn't track the football.
He had some space ahead of him, too, if they could have connected. So it's a 2nd and 10 at the Montreal 13 now. Pressure coming. Masoli wide open as Mardner. First down! And can't get the touchdown, but he does get close. Just a few yards shy. We have a 1st and goal coming up for the Ottawa RedBlacks.
This will be fascinating to see who the penalties
Because we have a late flag out. You saw the reaction by Mardner. Is that going to cost them? And that on this day would be typical. Mardner had the catch. He had it down inside the 5. And he got pushed back, he reacted, and a flag came out. My goodness, this is the way Ottawa's day has been going. Wait for the call. They discuss.
After the play, we have a 10-yard misconduct penalty on 84 Ottawa. They gained a first down, so when we go back 10 yards, it'll be 1st and 10.
Good play with a bad ending for the rookie Nick Mardner, who gets a talking to on the sidelines. He's out wide, top left corner of your screen. Is just going to drag towards the inside underneath the defender. Easy outlet for Jeremiah Masoli. Good hard run, bounces off contact. He's just fired up at the end of this play as he gets thrown down and kind of tosses the ball at the defender. That earns him the flag and a seat on the bench.
The 2 first-round draft picks, both taken in the top 10. Of course, Mardner 2 overall, and Cantaracu of the Alouettes. And advantage Montreal is pushing the RedBlacks back. They were at the 13, and after that play and the penalty, They're at the 12, and lo and behold, before the snap of the ball, flags out again.
You saw Bob Dice talking to Nick Mardner on the sideline.
Offside. Montreal number 91. 5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
So they get Isaac Adeyemi Berglund on that offside. So this time the penalty against the Alouettes.
Yeah, defensive end moving early. His movement into the neutral zone came first there.
9th play of the drive coming up here for the Ottawa RedBlacks. Still no touchdown for Ottawa in this game. If they could get one, they can tie it up. Past the midway point of the 3rd quarter. A look to the end zone. Nobody home. Ruffins the closest. Ackland the closest RedBlacks receiver, but not close at all to that football. And we get a 2nd down now.
Yeah, Masoli under pressure kind of puts this one up, hoping one of his receivers can run to get it. Now, I'm not sure from his perspective. He had 2 receivers at different levels working towards the sidelines, nobody working towards the middle where he threw the ball. I'm not sure if he expected one of them to take a different route or someone dragging from the other side on a post to get there.
Still 3rd quarter, but this is a big 2nd down and 5 coming up for the RedBlacks, who before a penalty looked like they had 1st and goal. Mazzoli, they run into the end zone, knocked away. It was intended for Miller. Wesley Sutton was there. Sutton makes the play. Mrs. Miller was going up, looking for the touchdown. 3rd down and 5 coming up for Ottawa.
A well-timed jump here for Wesley Sutton to get a piece of this one. Nice job by Masoli, who's always been so good, kind of throwing on the move in different directions, leaning back. That timing to lay it up there. Miller had a shot at it, but Wesley Sutton comes underneath to make a play.
Another short attempt here for Lewis Ward is 2 for 3. We'll make that 3 for 4. And field goals. It's been Ottawa scoring so far, but they do cut in to that Montreal lead. Cole Speaker, a player in the rise for Montreal, just signed a new contract through 2026. Kenzie?
And he comes from his athleticism. Honestly, when you look at his family, Cole is one of 5, all of which grew up playing sports. His 2 sisters went off to dance at college, and his older brother, Jeff, was a hurdler on a Division I scholarship to UND. He ran track with his brother when he was younger, and then the whole Speaker family would work out at their father's military base in their hometown of Brainerd, Minnesota. Sergeant Marlin at the U.S. Army National Guard, and when speaking with head coach Jason Moss, you can always count on Cole being the most athletic and underrated speed too. It's something not a lot of people talk about, so certainly somebody to keep an eye on as you're evaluating Speaker's game.
And Kenzie, as Dwayne had mentioned, if there was an award for the breakout player of the year, you'd have to consider Cole Speaker. Here's Sean Thomas Erlington, the catch, and then Davion Taylor takes him down. And yeah, definite breakout this season, but look at the playoffs last year and in the Grey Cup. We talked about this before, some of the big catches he had against Winnipeg.
Yeah, absolutely. Cole Speaker, a guy who just continues to improve over time. I still remember watching him make his CFL debut late season 2022, got into a game in Toronto. Then obviously started last year as a guy fighting to get on the roster. Injuries gave him an opportunity, made the most of it, and that role, as we've said, just continues to grow this season, and he delivers.
After the 5-yard pickup by Thomas Erlington, he has the ball again. He takes the catch, and he runs with it for the first down of the second half for the Alouettes. And good effort after the catch by Sean Thomas Erlington. 12-yard gain.
A great effort after the catch for Sean Thomas Erlington here. I don't know if you want to call these yak yards yards after catch or yards after contact, as he keeps fighting off defenders. Get that first down for the Owls.
Inside the Red Black zone in a 1st and 10. And it is Thomas Thomas Erlington. This is his drive so far as he has that carry and another good pickup to set up a 2nd and short for the Alouettes.
Yeah, Thomas Erlington, former 8th round pick in Hamilton back in 2017. Spent a fair bit of time as Hamilton's starting running back. But moving on this season in free agency, coming home to Montreal where he played his college football for the Carabins.
Winning a championship with Montreal. You saw Walter Fletcher in the sideline getting a break with Thomas Erlington still in there. The 2nd and 3. Back to him again. Well, he gets close to the first down. Not much more, though. Another little second effort trying to push his way to move the sticks for the Alouettes.
Yeah, this is a big drive for Montreal. Picking up a couple of first downs, keeping the Ottawa defense on the field. As Ottawa had really kind of taken over the momentum of this game in the 3rd quarter.
And with that, Dominic Davis comes in, short yardage, and a 3rd down here in inches for the Alouettes. Davis, who was in his 2nd stint with the Alouettes. Before that, he was once a starting quarterback with the Ottawa RedBlacks. And he easily lunges over and has that first down, getting closer around the 42-43 yard line of the RedBlacks. Alouette drive continues. As Davis heads off. Started his career in Winnipeg and then went to Ottawa, and in 2019 got some time as the starting quarterback with the RedBlacks.
Yeah, first came into the CFL with Calgary, but never really saw game action there, but moved on to Winnipeg where he made the roster as a backup.
The Ottawa 42. Late 3rd quarter, final seconds. Alouettes trying to cool off that momentum of the RedBlacks. Wow, that nearly was a big break for Ottawa. Went off the fingertips of Austin Mack, and fortunately for him and the Alouettes, it finds the turf.
Yeah, Mack out wide, right side of your screen. The target on this one, you can see he's got plenty of space with the defender dropped off. They're just trying to get the ball into his hands. His pursuit comes from the inside. He tries to make the man miss before he has the football.
You can tell what he wanted to do.
Yeah.
Somebody bearing down and wanting to turn it up quickly. 5 seconds to go until 3-quarter time. 2nd and 10, Montreal leading by 4 points from the Ottawa 42. Getting it to Speaker. And he picks up a couple of yards, but that'll be it. And that is 3-quarter time. And looks like Jose Maltos will be coming on to start the 4th quarter, kicking with the breeze at his back. See if he can make it a 7-point game again. Ottawa showing some life, though, in the 2nd half so far. 13-9 Alouettes.
Get ready for an action-packed doubleheader with 2 epic matchups.
Touchdown!
Saturday, RedBlacks, Argos at 3 Eastern, noon Pacific on CTV. Then Alouettes, Lions at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific on TSN.
Once again, we wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving, and certainly to our terrific crew, both in the truck and out on the field, braving the elements. Richly deserved to just a terrific crew, ensuring that we get a great broadcast here in the CFL on TSN. Everyone enjoying those turkey sandwiches. On a day like today, we all go our separate ways. You get the fresh turkey, and then you get the leftovers all in one. Everyone enjoying a turkey sandwich, as they should.
Well, almost everyone.
Oh, wait a minute. Patrick and Audio didn't get one? Oh. That's a scandal. Well, actually, now John Hines, our producer, says he didn't get one. He got 2.
Yes, Patrick just ate quickly before the camera got to him. A man after my own heart.
Richly deserved to everyone here and the great job you all do to bring us this football broadcast. Jose Maltos, 47-yard try for the Alouettes to see if they can open it up by 7 again to start the 4th quarter. Got a breeze at his back, too. No problem. For Mexican Jose Maltos. And the 7-point lead restored, 16-9. And the Alouettes It already clinched first place in the East Division, but still with something to play for. Jason Moss ensuring that. He had been asked about it, and to him there's no such thing as a nothing game. And they've got this. They got BC Place against the Lions next week, and they close out in a game that definitely means something to the Winnipeg Blue Bombers at the end of the regular season. One of the last games is Winnipeg still isn't wrapped up first in the West.
Yeah, things are going to be real interesting on both sides over these last couple of weeks with playoff spots and home playoff dates. I mean, the participants have been determined, but the seedings haven't.
With the Riders beating BC and with Winnipeg losing to Toronto, it's interesting right down to the final two games. Winnipeg here in Montreal. That's Labour. Little move. Nice run. His best run of the afternoon by far. He gets that one inside the Alouette 50.
We talked about those two young guys working on the right side of the offensive line. There's Zach Pelios at right tackle, Dante Bull at right guard. They're going to mash things down over there. And the double team, Leyburn, great block by Dominic Grimes on the outside, allowing Leyburn to turn that one north-south.
And a gain of 22 yards to the ground for Kalen Leyburn. Now his 8 carries, 47 yards. Inside the Alouette 50. RedBlacks again trailing by 7. Jeremiah Masoli. And he screens it off to Khalil Pimpleton, who has nowhere to go. He's taken back by a couple of yards. Second and long ahead here for Ottawa.
It just seemed like Ottawa was outnumbered at the point of attack there. Grimes, again, did a good job in terms of blocking his man, but Montreal getting to the football in a hurry, giving Pimpleton nowhere to go.
RedBlacks have been in second place for a while. They were 8-3-1, but they've lost 3 in a row. With the Argos winning a few nights ago, Winnipeg, they're ahead by a point in the standings for second place in the home playoff date. Here's a deep look. Mazzoli, and it's intercepted. Wesley Sutton was waiting for it. Down inside the Montreal 20. Turnovers and penalties had been hurting Ottawa heading into this game. And with that turnover right there, it stalls the red-black drive. Mazzoli had time. Sutton had time to wait. Montreal ball.
Two players to keep track of on this interception, the intended receiver, Jalen Ackland, and Wesley Sutton, the defender who intercepts that football. Ackland is going to attack the seam between the two deep defenders. Sutton goes to the inside. Ackland doesn't recognize that he's falling back out. Neither does Masoli. Masoli threw the ball as Sutton had his back turned to Ackland. He puts it up there, but Ackland normally would have helped out his quarterback come back and try to break up the interception, but he didn't realize that he's coming back either.
Alexander on the fake, and Bennett Williams is chasing him down. He ends up going out of bounds after picking up a couple of yards on that first down play for Montreal.
Davis Alexander just trying to get this Montreal offense going again here in the second half. After a first half in which they had built a 13-point lead, Ottawa getting 3 of those back right at the end of the opening half.
And benefiting from penalties, as we talked about, too, and mistakes made by Ottawa. The net offense, RedBlacks have more net offense today. 217 to 184 for Alexander and the Alouettes. 2nd and 5, though, in that carry from the 22. Splashed out, taken off again. First down, slides just as he gets enough to move the sticks and keep this drive going.
Alexander, quick look, nothing there, sees an opportunity, knows where he needs to get to for the first down, gets it. After taking a couple of hits in the first half of this ball game, just gets down safely once he picks up that first down yardage.
Well, he hasn't played in a while, not since week 11. We do get reminded how he's not afraid to run the football, this young 25-year-old quarterback. Making his fourth start. From the 28, Walter Fletcher. One thing the Alouettes did say, Dwayne, beforehand, They want to be able to run the ball better. They want to be able to defend against the run better. That was kind of exposed against the Argos a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah. Yeah, they seem to have looked at the idea of maybe playing with a little bigger lineup at times, particularly when they were playing with Moultrie at defensive end instead of D-tackle. He's bumped back inside today, as mentioned earlier, with Mustafa Johnson out. But in terms of the offensive part of this, yeah, you know, an offense that for a number of years was sort of built around William Stanback has shifted a bit, but they clearly want to get back to some of that power football.
Fletcher stays in to block and protect Alexander, who's looking deep, wide open. It is caught by Austin Mack. He has it inside the 30. And a big first down for the Montreal Alouettes.
And suddenly it feels like 2023 all over again. Austin Mack catching the deep ball. He's wide open. In behind coverage. Davis Alexander just heaves this one up. Huge play there. Alexander to Mack.
Biggest one for Mack since coming back to the Alouettes. A gain of 50. And just like that, the Alouettes have the ball in the red-black zone inside the Ottawa 30.
Austin Mack had 9 catches of 30-plus yards last season with the Alouettes.
Right from their opening game against the Ottawa RedBlacks when Cody Fajardo hit him with a big one right away. And we didn't know much about him then. It's a newcomer and a team that had a lot of problems at receiver with injuries and a lot of uncertainty. And boy, they started checking the boxes, didn't they, with him and Tyler Sneed and Cole Speaker last year, that his revamped receiving core was just fine.
Yeah, and getting a healthy Keon Julian Grant this season, as well as Reggie White having come back early in the season.
The fake to Fletcher. Time again. Down the left. End zone look. Rambo! Not quite. Coverage converged on Charleston Rambo and just made sure he couldn't get a handle on that ball on another Montreal touchdown.
Yeah, again, such a long throw to get it there, and you see how the defenders are able to take away that separation as the ball is in the air. Closer to the right offensive right hash. He's throwing this way out towards the left sideline. You see the faith that Alexander has in Charleston Rambo, putting that ball up for him to go make a play against coverage.
Elijah McGee and DeAndre Lamont, the two, just coming together to prevent the touchdown grab by Rambo. So it's a 2nd and 10 at the Ottawa 29. Alouettes up by 7, looking for more. That one is caught by Matt. Turns it back up and he gets close to another first down. Looks like he does have it just inside the 20. Or let's see where they spot the football. Did his knee go down before? He was very close to stretching it out. It looks like they'll just be shy by inches as the short yardage unit comes on. We apologize for our loss of our signal back here in Montreal. Rod Smith, Dwayne Ford, Kenzie Lalonde with the Alouettes pressing for more points, up 16-9. Back now late in this game, just under 7 minutes to go. Davis Alexander, the starting quarterback today for the Alouettes, and it's a 3rd down and a field goal situation coming up now. This is Alexander cheering them on as they head off now. That offense, they'll look to, as I said, make it open it up to a 2-score game now. They can with the Maltos field goal.
There you see Jose Maltos 3 for 3 so far on the day. A guy who's been a real positive story for the Alouettes this season, as you mentioned, filling in for the injured David Cote.
It's 118 away. Maltos adds another. And an important field goal, too, because it's now a 10-point Alouette lead. Late 4th, RedBlacks still have some work to do. Just over 6 minutes on the clock here at Molson Stadium in Montreal on a holiday Monday. Thanksgiving, the Alouettes in charge. leading it by 10, 19-9, and looking for their 12th win of the season. Mazzoli to the right. It's caught. It's a first down. It's Pimpleton with another catch. The leading receiver for the RedBlacks has 17 more yards on the day.
And good protection afforded Jeremiah Mazzoli there, allowing him to get this one out to Khalil Pimpleton. Alouettes at this point is trying to make sure nothing gets in behind them.
Into the Alouette zone. Out it goes for Ackman. Looking for yardage after the catch. He keeps his balance and gets a good pickup on first down. Hung on long enough to get it down to about the 48 of the Alouettes.
A good first down play for about 6.
The RedBlacks know they're in the playoffs, and they know they're facing the Argos in the East semifinals. It's just a matter of where. And a lot of motion on that play, misdirection. It goes in the hands of Leyburn, but it doesn't fool the Alouettes. And Wesley Sutton, who had a pick earlier, and that stalls the drive, still with 3 yards to go.
You'll see Sutton does a nice job staying at home on this play, not getting sucked in by that motion going to the other side. And a cool play design with the behind-the-back handoff to Leyburn.
The RedBlacks down 2 scores, and under 5 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. Will go for it on 3rd and 3. It's in the Alouette zone at the 46. Here we go, Ottawa. Mazzoli passes it deep. Coming up board is Ackland. He's got the ball. Ackland's inside the Alouette 15, and they get the first down. So here comes Ottawa, threatening again.
They get a great look at this one as Jeremiah Mazzoli again is just going to put it up in the middle of the field, let Jalen Ackland go get it. Receivers essentially waiting for this one to come down a little bit. He had Ruffin shielded out of the play.
From the 13, Ottawa, and no, closest is Ackland. That one heads off to the left and incomplete and out of bounds. Second down. Down 10 points, needing at least a field goal, but yet I think they get this close, still without a touchdown in this game. 3:43 in the clock. Ottawa's lost 3 in a row, all when they had a chance to clinch a playoff spot, which they ultimately did after Hamilton lost to Winnipeg last week. But they lost in Hamilton. They lost at home to these Alouettes, 24-12. And then they lost 2 weeks ago in Saskatchewan before heading into a bye. Going from 8-3-1 to 8-6-1. And still 2 games to go after this. A huge one in Toronto next week before they close it out against the Tiger Cats. But still hoping somehow that it's not over yet here in Montreal. 2nd and 10 at the Alouette 13. Mazzoli chased out to the right and a flag comes out into the end zone, and it looked like it was a holding penalty coming up against Ottawa. Andre Miller's the intended target.
Yeah, I suspect this one's going to go against the right tackle.
Holding Ottawa number 52. That penalty is declined. 3rd down.
So they need a touchdown and a field goal, and it looks now like they'll take the field goal, get it back to within a touchdown. And Bob Dice, though, challenge flag in hand, but has not thrown it.
Part of that may be recognizing desire to keep a timeout.
It wouldn't make any sense to throw it now, which he is not, but it sure looks like he's ready to throw it now. So Lewis Ward again. So back to a 7-point game. One possession game, 3.5 minutes on the clock. Bob Dice's RedBlacks still needing a big comeback here. On this Thanksgiving Monday, we think of Purolator Tackle Hunger and that great cause in the CFL. Last stop next week in Toronto for the RedBlacks Argos game, and talking to Mike Hogan with the Argos, is doing a story on our friend Chris Schultz, who passed away 3.5 years ago, and just always thinking what a great cause that has been for Purolator, and it was to Schultz as well. Purolator Tackle Hunger, that's next week in Toronto. 1st and 10. The Alouette 40 now. Back to a 7-point game. Little shuffle there to Walter Fletcher, who takes off. Mr. Yards after the catch. Has some good yardage there, and a well-executed play for the Alouettes. A pickup of 11.
Yeah, well-executed, high-percentage play for the Montreal Alouettes. Going to see the fullback motioning across the formation here. Create some misdirection. Fletcher bends it back around. Take a little shovel.
And that first down by Montreal heads into the 3-minute warning. Alouettes football in a 7-point lead. Just 2 weeks left to the CFL regular season after today. Week 20 next week. Stamps, Ticats, bowl Levi Mitchell again against his old club Friday night. RedBlacks Argos, which could be for second place in the East. If Ottawa doesn't come back, the Argos could clinch home field against Ottawa in the playoffs with a win, and that one's on CTV, and then back on TSN Saturday. The Alouettes out to face Nathan Rourke and the BC Lions. Montreal will close it out back here at McGill against Winnipeg in a game of meaning right down to the final week, with the Blue Bombers yet to clinch first in the West. And that game will be followed by Saskatchewan-Calgary, by the way, which, if Montreal can beat Winnipeg, would mean the Riders with a win could take first in the West. Bennett Williams on the tackle there of Walter Fletcher. 7-point difference. Alouettes content to kill the clock at this point in time.
But just getting back to that playoff picture, we prepare for this big second down play. I mean, Montreal is taking care of their own business in the East, but they kind of control the outcome of things in the West.
They really do. You know, the Rider fans will be paying close attention to the Winnipeg and Montreal in 2 weeks' time to determine the meaning against Calgary in the final game of the regular season. 2:17 on the clock. Pressure on Alexander. Wants to take off again. Cleon Lang got him by the shoe tops. Took him down, and a big one for Lang and Ottawa's defense, which will force the Alouettes to give Ottawa the ball back, down 7 points.
And there's a recognition of the situation here for Davis Alexander as you keep an eye on Cleon Lang, second from the top, second from the right side of that defensive line. But Alexander, under pressure, doesn't want to force a pass downfield into coverage. He's basically decided running is the best option in this situation to protect the football, protect the field position as best as you can, but just nowhere to go with that one.
So a timeout is called. 2:11 on the clock. Alexander off and Joseph Zima on to punt this one to Tobias Harris. Heading back there with Khalil Pimpleton. So 2 returners. Looking for a big return here with 2:11 on the clock. And needing a touchdown. And backing off, Ottawa is to set up the return here for Khalil Pimpleton inside the 10. A punt of 50 yards gets it out to the 11, and that's it. So the RedBlacks will start deep, 2:01 on the clock, and needing to finally find the end zone today, something they have not done. Just 4 field goals and a 19-12 lead by Montreal.
Yeah, a long way to go here for Ottawa. Now it'll be interesting to see how aggressive Montreal is or isn't, essentially, kind of playing to keep things in front of them. Masoli can continue to get the ball out of his hands quickly and take what he's given, that Montreal may give some of those short, quick hitters.
Again for the RedBlacks, as you look at Noel Thorpe leading the defense of these Alouettes, they cannot clinch second place. They never could with a win today, but they could go in the driver's seat heading to Toronto next week. This puts them in worse shape if they can't come back and win it. That's Pimpleton with the catch, setting up a second and short.
Yeah, Montreal lines up with 7 guys right up at the line of scrimmage on this one. Bit of a blitz look, but dropping several out. But Masoli off that look gets the ball out quickly.
Kalen Laburn first down and a little bit more as he chugs up to furthest point of advancement, about the 30 of the Red Blacks. 1:48 to go.
Darnell Sankey in the middle of that Montreal defense. Another big season for him.
Pressure. Mazzoli's going down. Finishing it off. Adeyemi Berglund and Dominic, but there was a lot of heat coming in from that Alouette defensive front. Second and long ahead for the Red Blacks now.
You're going to see Adeyemi Berglund lined up right beside Tyrese Beverette. Just to the inside. 2 men fan out and leave him a lane to get to the quarterback.
Second and 15. That's caught by Pimpleton, turning it up, and gets just enough for the first down to keep things moving. See where they spot the ball.
Yeah,
maybe just shy.
say Pimpleton stepped out,
and he did. He had lots of time to, in space, it would appear, to get that first down. And just came up shy. It's not enough. Lorenzo Burns heading his way, but instead they're going to have to confirm it here. 3-down football at this point regardless for Ottawa, but this takes more time off the clock for them with Mazzoli, who doesn't get it. Turnover on downs. A flag comes out.
Right. Just await the call here.
Offside. Montreal number 19.
Well,
5-yard penalty. First down.
Cantar too flag for that, but a break for the Red Blacks. When they had to go for it, of course, on third down because they didn't get it before, and there you see why. So here we go, 1st and 10, and the penalty, that one a little in behind the intended target, Pimpleton, and it falls incomplete.
Ottawa dodged a bullet with that offside call. It was bad enough that it was taking up the time that they had to run the extra play to get that first down running the sneak, but the fact that you'd see Masoli, not a short yardage guy, right? Not usually the guy doing it. Their execution of the play showed that. They would have been turning over the football.
1:07 left in this game. The Red Blacks trying to avoid a 4th straight loss, but they're down 7 and a 2nd and 10 at their 45. Pressure coming. Mazzoli steps up. He won't get away. They've got him again. Isaac Adeyemi Berglund again. His first year with the Alouettes, the ex-Stampeder, having a big one here to put it down to a 3rd and very long for the Ottawa Red Blacks.
A guy who worked his way into the rotation in Calgary very early in his career, an opportunity to be an important part of what they were doing here in Montreal defensively.
Here we go, 3rd and 15. Under a minute to go, and Mazzoli is running around. Adeyemi Berglund was chasing him again. And he just throws it away in front of Jalen Acklin, and that is it. 45 seconds to go. Alouettes leading by 7, and they take over the football in the Ottawa zone as they can kill off the remaining seconds to claim their 12th victory of the season.
Montreal did a terrific job getting pressure on Masoli in this possession. Obvious must-pass situation for the Ottawa quarterback. The Owls dial it up.
And with that, victory formation for the Owls and 4 straight losses for the Red Blacks, who go to Toronto next week. knowing it's a must-win if they want to go to Toronto. If they don't want to go to Toronto again for the playoff game, but the Argos in that race for second in the East are certainly in the driver's seat now as you look ahead. 9-7 Argo record. Ottawa falling to 8-7-1, a point behind. And Ottawa has not been a good team on the road this year. And if the Argos clinch with a victory next week in Toronto, they're assured of hosting Ottawa again for the East semifinal a couple of weeks later. Davis Alexander goes to 4-0, filling in for Cody Fajardo. And not as memorable a performance as some of his other games, 14-24, 208, and an interception, but ran the ball very well too. And a quarterback they know that they can count on when Cody Fajardo is not available. But Fajardo's number one, and the Alouettes didn't need to win this game. They're already assured first place, but they did win it. 1-1 since clinching.
You mentioned not necessarily the big numbers we may have seen from Davis Alexander in other games, but the thing that stands out, Ottawa or Montreal quarterbacks, backup quarterbacks, undefeated, filling in for Cody Fajardo over the last 2 years. Very fitting on a Jason Moss team.
Absolutely it is. Moss knows all about that. And the defending Grey Cup champions, first in the East, adding a win to their total. They'll head to BC Place next week, and a huge one now for second place for the RedBlacks, heading to BMO Field in Toronto. Again, happy Thanksgiving, and thanks for joining us on the CFL on TSN from Montreal. So long, everyone.